This is the thing that I think is the biggest insight I have for you. Once you get the framework, once you get the concept that this is genuine, authentic, real showing up, once you get that, how do you make it operational in real time? Because when you look at the framework, when you look at this, and you think back on opportunities, you go, oh yeah, man, these guys, they're never going to do business with us again. And frankly, we would never do business with them either. And you can track how you got there. And it's like, man, yeah, I remember. I never thought I showed up that way. But I've got a couple of customers who, man, they had really hard feelings after, and, they're not referenceable. Or, yeah, we thought we would take one for the team, or we would offer a one-time discount, and they just kept taking advantage, and we finally had to give up and wound up here. It's easy to track back and say how we got here and how we wound up somewhere other than here. But the real question is, how do you recognize and stay here real time? And that's what this last one is about. How you make it operational, okay? And this is really fun. Right here is neutral, and just over the line here is a itty-bitty little bit of W, little win, okay? Or this way, itsy-bitsy little lose, okay? Over here a little further, here's a pretty significant win. And again, not talking about winning or losing the deal, talking about how it feels. Went on a call, felt great. Here's what's happening next. They said they're going to introduce us to some folks, and before I even got back to the office, or before I was gone for the day, I already had an email back from saying, I want to introduce, here's a cyber intro to the two people I talked about, and I'll leave it to you guys to hook up, but if there's any problem, I'll be happy to. That's a real win. Come on, let's face it. Over here, there's a lose. You had that thing, and now it's been a week, and there's still no follow-up, and they haven't known this. Over here, there's a major league win. And over here, baby, there is a big-time lose. Now, I don't know what the units are, but your gut measures this thing out to about 5 places. And it says click or click. It's that simple. I mean, in the meeting, you'll be sitting there and they'll say something and it's like, click or click. And the way you play win-win, the way you follow the rules is when you feel it, either way, you deal with it then. Okay? You don't eat a little click and then leave the meeting and think it'll fix itself, or I didn't hear that, or you'll be in the meeting or talking on the phone, and they'll say something like, yeah, these last guys we talked to, man, their terms were just outrageous. And here's what they want us to do. And it's like, yeah, we do that. And it's like, click, maybe we'll get past that. Or, they'll say something like, the last guy that was in here that I was dealing with, he always was trying to expand the relationship. He always wanted to get in somewhere else. Like, it was never enough. He's always trying to do more. And it's like, well, that's kind of my job, man. It's like, expand the relationship. And it's like, click. Okay. That's the time to say something. Or when it goes the other way, when it's like, wow, that felt great. I'm really glad you feel that way. And we don't have to, have you race out and introduce me to a bunch of different people today, but I'm glad you'd be willing to introduce me to other folks, because I definitely want to follow up on that. So if they say this guy, he's always trying to get in other places, it's like, well, I got to be upfront with you. That's kind of what my job is to not only do a transaction, do this deal with you in the near term, but see if we can expand this relationship and elevate it over time, and cross-sell, upsell, penetrate other divisions. That's kind of the name of the game, not just doing a one-time deal. If the guy says, hey, man, I didn't sign up for that. I'm not interested in that. It's like, well, can we talk about that now? Don't Don't accept it and leave. Okay, so here's the classic, and then we're going to wrap this up, is you go in a call, and the guy says, the person man or woman you're meeting with, or you're on a call, whatever, I realize it's much less, in-field calling in person these days. You're on this call, and it seems like it's gone okay, and the person says, you know what, that sounds great to me. Why don't you get me a proposal? Can you do that it's Wednesday afternoon, can you do that by the end of the week? And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, certainly could and delighted to do so, but there are a few specifics we could use here. Like if you're in financial services, you need to get a look at some of your financial records. If you're in, high tech, we may need to know how many users and, what systems do you have in place. There are a few things we need so we can really give you a decent proposal. And it's like, yeah, I know, I get that, but we're kind of under the gun here, and just, if you can just give me a proposal, that'd be great. And it's like, click or click. And I'm going to say click. Okay. So it's like, well, again, delighted, you're asking, want to get your proposal, but rather than just get you some plain vanilla proposal, generic thing that, couldn't go wide of the mark or couldn't have the best pricing because we have to pad it with, uncertainty and so on. If you could just get me, these few details, even before I leave or, before the end of day tomorrow, we can still get you a proposal by the end. It's like, dude, if you want to give me a proposal, give me a proposal. If you don't want to give me a proposal, no worries, maybe another time. Okay, now I'm going to ask you, click or click? And I'm going to submit, that sounds like click. Here's how things really get messed up. You say, hey man, relax. Okay, thanks. Sounds good. And yes, definitely by Friday we'll get your proposal. And you accept the lose. Now you've broken the rule. Okay, but you need the business. Or you said, your manager is like on top of you to close something with this opportunity. And so where you are, when you complete that call, if you didn't address it at the time, I'm going to say you're not here, you're here. Now the buyer may not feel that way, but you're the one with the feeling that isn't being addressed. I'm going to submit you're here. Okay? So now you get off the phone and you call your person in sales support and you say, hey, we need to get a proposal to these guys. I've been bird dogging these guys for 3 months and we finally got in there and now they want a proposal. This is going to be awesome. Need a proposal. Can we get that put together by, end of day tomorrow or early on Friday so we can take a look at it? Because I promised we'd have it by the end of the week. And they say, yeah, of course. That's what I'm delighted. And it's not like I've got nothing else to do, but I know you've been working on these guys. I love to. Those same people who sales support, they can ask the most annoying questions like, how many of them and where are they located and all those things they need to actually create a decent proposal that you knew you needed to get and didn't get on the call. But now you've left the call here, and now it's not you and the buyer, it's you and your sales support person, and they're asking you all these questions. And it's like, hey, I know, but this one's different. We just need to get them something. They're asking us what time it is. We have to build them a watch, okay? So let's just get a proposal put together. Now, your support person probably feels like lose, and they feel like you're playing this game with them. So you took the lose, you accepted the lose on the call, and then you trotted back to your sales support person and you handed it to them. Let me just dump it on that person's desk. Okay. So we're playing all of this stuff all the time. Everybody knows this is where it's at. That to me is the secret to not only building great relationships with your customers and prospects, because a lot of times, let's face it, you're not for everybody. And maybe we'll talk about that next time. We'll talk about abundance versus scarcity. But you're not for everybody. And recognizing that and being on a call and they're going, no, man, I really think it's like, I'm happy to talk to a couple more folks, but based on everything you've said, I just don't see this as a fit. saying it up front at the beginning rather than dragging these things out, is just really a great way to build relationships, build credibility out in the market and in your company with your support team. That's why I think this is so critical. And I'm going to say it again. It's the most important thing I've learned in selling, and it's the most important thing I can possibly share with you.